Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a spread in my junk art journal. I haven't used this for a while, but I got super inspired working in this journal after I recorded my lesson for the Gratitude Junk Journal workshop this year. And I did this in this journal and I was super inspired and I wanted to create more spreads in here, and that's what I'm sharing today. About the workshop, the Gratitude Junk Journal workshop, it is starting, I believe, November 1st, but I will give you all the information in the video description. And registration opens on October 1st, and there is a early bird discount code, and I will give you that all in the video description in case you are interested and you want to look into or enroll in the workshop. You will find it there. I can't wait because I'm pretty sure that it will be there will be some amazing lessons. There are wonderful teachers in this workshop, and it's all about gratitude and making journal pages inspired by things we are grateful for, but things that are not the typical things we are grateful for, I would say, such as family or health and all that stuff. It's more about the small things in life. And it's all about junk journaling. So you will learn how to create your own junk journal, and you will see a lot of inspirational lessons and get prompts and so on. For this page today, I'm starting on a spread which is almost empty. It just has that brown spine in the middle, and I put down different collage papers with a glue stick. I'm speeding up the collage process a little bit so you don't get bored. I'm using mainly jelly prints, leftover paint papers, or other papers that I had in my stash, and I have them stored in small boxes, and I always try to get rid of them. And in case you are enjoying my videos and you want to see a little bit more inspiring content all around art journaling, mixed media, and collage, check out my Instagram page. I started a monthly subscription over there, so you get some extra longer voiceover videos there and behind the scenes stories and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you'd like to check that out. I will now cover my whole spread with a layer of clear gesso to seal the collage and also to prime the page, because I wanted to go on top with my Gansai Tambi Watercolors. I haven't used them for years, I think. They are quite dry, but that doesn't matter because these are watercolors. But I think it's time to use them. I do not want to have them forever. I'm using a simple scraper tool to apply the clear gesso, and I will also use the catalyst plate to smooth it out and get rid of the excess of the gesso, and that gives me quite a thin layer, and that makes it dry quite quickly. After it was dry, I went in with more gesso. I'm using a bit of a white gesso because I don't want to have the whole page super colorful. I want to blend in the background a little bit. And also the white gesso works a bit different compared to the clear gesso regarding the watercolors. So it gives it a bit of a different texture. What I also like is a thin layer of that white gesso over the papers makes them shine through, and that gives the page more depth and interest. So it's not that I'm covering up everything, and it's also most of the papers are still visible underneath. I now go in with my watercolors after the gesso is completely dry, and I'm using a brush and also my fingers to apply them. As my watercolors were so dry, I have spritzed them with water before so they can already react and it's easier to take them out. Also, I feel the Gansai Tambi are a little bit more like gouache. They are not as transparent as my normal watercolors, and that's why I really enjoy using them in my art journal and for these kind of messy backgrounds. I'm messing around a lot today. I'm using blue and turquoise colors, and I will let the color flow and add some splatters. I'm just enjoying the process. I think I'm quite happy with this. I didn't put the paint all over the page. I left some white areas because that gives it some light and some contrast, and that makes it a bit more interesting. I'm now going in with some reddish and orange tones just in a a smaller area because I wanted to go on top with some flowers, and I plan to color in the flowers pink and orange, and so I try to make sure that everything fits together later. I let the watercolors dry completely, and now I wanted to go in with that stencil from our Sketchy Leaves #3 and wanted to add it in white. I'm using, I believe, white paint from Schminke, and it's quite a hard job to get the stenciling into this bulky and messy book because it's not a plain, it's so bulky and hard to keep the stencil in place. So it will be a bit messy, but I loved the result in the end. I really like the look of it, and I was not sure if I wanted to add a second layer on top to make it a bit more opaque. And then I decided I will let this dry and then paint on top with another layer of white paint. While this is drying, I'm preparing my main images. I wanted to use some of our inky flowers, and I'm stamping them with distress ink in shabby shutters, and then I will go in with the watercolors. Distress inks are water soluble. That means that the outlines of the flowers will dissolve a bit with the watercolors, and I will not have a traditional black outline like I usually do when I do some stamping. I'm now coloring in these flowers, and I will speed up that process because it takes me a while, and later I will cut them out and use just some of them on my spread. I'm not someone who is good in coloring in stamped images. There are some people out there that do so amazing coloring. It's just breathless. I really adore that, but I can't do it myself. So I just go in quite loosely and messy, and I don't mind if it's not perfect. I have cut out some of the flowers, and here I'm using some paint markers, acrylic paint markers, to highlight the center and also make some highlights with white to just give the flowers some more dimension. Before I'm adhering my flowers, I go in with a black Posca paint pen and I draw some outlines and textures onto my botanical leaf. I'm arranging some of the flowers on my page to see how I wanted it to be and where I can maybe add some background texture with some stamps. I decided to bring in a little bit of stamping with one of our new Mix It Up background stamps. It's just some text and I really love it to create interest on a background. I'm using StazOn ink to stamp just parts of it onto my page. To bring in some more highlights, I'm adding splatters with white acrylic ink. As I have a lot of bright greens in my flowers, I wanted it to bring to the background and therefore I'm using a neo color. And a funny fact is that I usually use neo colors quite often also for sketching, But this kind of green I almost have never touched because I usually don't like these bright greens, but just recently I discovered that they look quite nice to me, especially with some other colors combined. And so I just made it some marks, made some marks on my spread. And here I have adhered all the flowers. And what I also did is I added some die cut letters that say BU. These are from Sizzix. And now I'm adding more sentiments or more words with our Mixed Sentiment stamp set. I will now finish the page up by adding a white Posca line into the big letters, and that's it.